We're here to show you what came back from the oil analysis. So a lot of the comments were you have antifreeze, coolant in that oil. Just wanted to backtrack again. That oil, I had only had 50 miles on it. Got my oil changed from work. It sat back outside. I live about 25 miles from work. Brian drove it to our buddy's house that lives about 5 miles from us, and we took it to the car wash. So it really didn't drive that much. So we just have been guesstimating that it had about 50 miles on it. I wanted to go over our Blackstone analysis with you, so I'm going to read it and then show you some of the goodies that we started getting for the motor. So it says this oil was in place over a very short internal. It's good that the metals are below average. It says our average shows typical 4 to 5 liters where after 5,800 miles of oil use. Lead is very high for just 50 miles on the oil and could show poor bearing wear. Lead could also be from race and track fuel. Even unleaded fuel from track pumps has lead in it. Listen for ticks and knocks. Monitor for low oil pressure. Insolubles are very high at 0.8%, showing heavy oxidation. If the engine runs well and you're not hearing any knocks, just check back to monitor lead and to build trends. So basically, there was no antifreeze, there was no coolant, and there was no sign of E85 actually in the oil. The high lead is really just leading us to bearing wear, which they didn't really have a ton of wear on them. So that's why we were a little bit confused and wanted to make sure that we had something completely unbiased and someone that knew no one about it. So Brian replied back to them to try to get a little bit more detail on it, and this is what he sent them and what he got back.
I gave them a little more information about what happened with the car that led to the short oil usage. So basically I told them we did the oil change right before the install, got the Whipple on, started dyno tuning, made it through like 2 poles or some street miles, and then it started knocking. Let them know that the car's been ran almost exclusively on, well, for that oil change it had been exclusively on E85.
Yeah, the car had about 1,000 miles of E85, maybe a little bit less.
You know, to us it was surprising that for the color that the oil came out, there wasn't any kind of contamination from either fuel, 0 water or moisture contamination, 0 antifreeze contamination.
I'm gonna kill that cat.
So a response back from Blackstone was, thank you for the extra information about the cylinder liners being spray-on versus standard iron for the 18s. He kind of summarized and said that Joe's a klutz and trips over cords, but somehow I'm the uncoordinated one in this relationship.
Hey!
For the record, that cord is on the ground.
Stop.
So he basically just reconfirmed that while they can't say for sure what the cause of the noise was because they only analyzed the oil, the high lead reading that they found definitely points to excessive bearing wear, especially for the mileage that was on the vehicle. As far as the high oxidation, with no contamination from the coolant, no water contamination, no fuel contamination, kind of the only other thing that oxidation's caused from is high heat. High heat most likely from the bearing starting to go out.
So I just wanted to reiterate, with all these things being said, that means, again, it wasn't the tune. It wasn't an issue with the blower, because a lot of people said that was an issue with the blower since the car that it came off of was in an accident. So basically, back to our original video, which we said, this is Ford's fault.
For this situation, boost had nothing to do with it. Boost doesn't affect how bearings wear. It's not going to accelerate the bearing wear. It was a matter of time whether the car could boost on it or not. I mean, that's what the wear shows. That's what the bearing showed, that little bit of wear that we saw. That's what the oil analysis shows. When we dropped the engine off at the machine shop, they checked the cylinder bores for roundness. They found nothing out of the norm. Everything seemed straight throughout there. They checked the piston diameter in relation to the bores. Everything seemed ballpark within spec. I mean, everything that we've looked at thus far, The only thing that it points back to is it being an issue with the bearings that were installed by Ford in their engine plant in Essex. It's an assembly issue, and it could have happened, you know, being installed wrong. It could have happened at 1,000 miles. It could have happened at 4,000 miles. It could have happened at 12,000 miles. But fact of the matter is, it is nothing that we did to the car to cause the issue. However, we will be correcting it and building it the right way, how it should have been done to begin with.
And like I said earlier, I wanted to show you some of the goodies that we got. So
transitioning forward,
I was pretty excited. I haven't had a proper announcement that I am going to be working with Lethal this year on a partial sponsorship. So they gave me, with some money that I gave them, they gave me my new rods. We got Manly. We also got Darton sleeves, which are already at the machine shop. So we are hoping that this process works out a little bit quicker. Like I've said before, it doesn't really matter if the car is done in 2 weeks. It doesn't matter if it's done even in March. Michigan weather is so crappy right now that it wouldn't matter if the car was done right now. It's not like I could really drive it. If anything, I would maybe try to go to Texas 2K, but it's probably not going to happen if the car is done. But we also noticed that a lot of people didn't seem to like the music that we used in the last video, which is fine. We asked for constructive criticism, but when you don't give us an example of something else we can use to fix it, that's just criticism. So if you could kind of give us some constructive stuff to work on and fix, we would really appreciate it.
Like suggestions, like, I don't like listening to your girly baby music EDM, but it would be a lot cooler if your channel played something like...
Yeah, please. That's what we're looking for. We need help. We're new. So again, if you're new to the channel, you know, been watching us for a while, either way, we really appreciate you guys watching. If you're new, I hope you liked what you saw. The channel's gonna pick up. It's not gonna constantly be us talking. We are gonna try to go to the machine shop either tomorrow or Saturday morning to see if we can watch them put the sleeves in a little bit. And then once it comes back from the machine shop, I'll be able to record everything once it gets assembled back together at my dad's shop. Keep us posted, let us know. That 1320 chick on Instagram, he's Detroit_Riot on Instagram. So you can keep up with when we're gonna be posting new stuff, or you can hit that little bell, I think it is.
Ring that bell.
Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just click it.
Or you could just click it. Either way. So we'll keep you guys posted and let you know. Oh, I also am working with Long Tubes too. Hey. Long Tube Headers was gracious and wanted to work with me this year as well. So they sent me some headers that should be in...
Who knows?
I think Monday.
Have you ever seen how Chip and Joey and Gaines interact? She talks and he makes stupid gestures in the background and everyone loves it.
Apparently Brian thinks that...
We're the... like,
he wants to be the Chip and Joanna of like the automotive world.
Yeah.
Ironically,
her name's Joanna.
I don't really tell anybody that. I go by Joe, but yes.
He calls her Joe.
I'm not calling you Chip though.
That's fine.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Sorry for our annoyance. We wanted to clear some stuff up, and again, let you guys know that it's not going to be boring forever. So, thank you for your support. Thanks for your great comments. So, we'll talk to you later.